Hi, I'm Katie and today I'm reviewing Fangirl by Rowell. I'm guessing you've heard of it, but if you haven't, it's about a girl named Kath who's off to college for the first time in her life, and her twin sister Ren, who she's quite attached to, sort of abandons her. In their spare time before they went to college, they were both writers of Simon Snow fanfiction, and of course in this universe Simon Snow is Harry Potter. Their stories are actually quite famous. Kath is the queen of introverts, and she really has a hard time relating to other people and deals with social anxiety, so being detached from her sister is really difficult, and she has to share a room with a stranger, and it's just overall a difficult situation. And of course her roommate Reagan has a boyfriend slash friend slash guy that comes around all the time named Levi, and Kath has special feelings for him. Basically, Kath is me 11 years ago. She's a huge introvert, she's socially anxious, she feels lost and alone, and I think that's why I loved this book so much, because it was like a sneak peek into my own past, but sort of a different situation. Her social anxiety paralyzes her on a daily basis, and she's unable to do normal things like go to the cafeteria or, you know, talk to her roommate, have a normal conversation. And I think that's pretty normal actually. Even though not all of us have social anxiety, we're all afraid when we go to college or we're in a new place that's different, and watching Kath deal with it and figure things out is really what makes her not only relatable but an interesting and flawed but great character. I also loved the fact that all of Rowell's characters were very distinct. Each one had a unique voice and their own motivations, and you could clearly tell a difference between Ren and Kath, who are of course twins and who initially have a lot in common. I talk about this a lot, but I think it's really important that characters have flaws because it makes them real, and this is something that Fangirl does really well. Like Kath, we love our family, but sometimes we don't like them, and sometimes they do weird or mean things that don't make sense to us, and it's all a part of life and relationships, and nobody is simple. So I really can't stress enough how great the characters in this book are. I really like the story. I think that Kath's journey through freshman year is typically a rocky one, and her relationship, her friendship with each person changes dramatically over the course of the year, which is important because the story is really about, in my opinion, Kath figuring herself out and what she's doing, where she's going, and she's figuring the people around her out, her family, her friends. In a similar vein, something that I really liked about this book is that even though Levi is the, you know, love interest, he's not the only person that she finds herself attracted to or that she finds herself in a situation with where things might be happening. You know, I think in real life we aren't always thrown in with the people that we end up with, not saying that's what happens. It was great that there was this other character, Nick, that Kath interacted with that she felt a connection to. He was different from Levi, which I think really helped her to better understand how she felt about him and about herself with him. Throughout the story, I feel like Kath is very much stuck in a rut. Once again, this is something that we all go through in our life. I know that I've gone through it several times. It's not fun and it's not easy to get out of. You fall into habits, you do things that aren't the best for you because that's what you have to do to survive, you know, survive. Like I said, figuring herself out is a huge part of what's going on in the story, so even though she's stuck, she's sort of approaching something, she's working towards something, whether she knows it or not. Another thing I really loved in this story was the representation of mental illness. Kath's dad is manic depressive, her sister clearly has some issues with addiction, and of course Kath has issues with trust and social anxiety and just general anxiety. It's all there, and these days I feel like mental illness is the norm. You know, a lot of people in my family have issues with depression or anxiety. I struggle with anxiety and so many other things that are happening just within the scope of my close family and friends. So to see it represented in Fangirl as something that can be worked on, not something that means that you're broken and you'll never be fixed, or there's something wrong with you. You know, there's nothing wrong with Kath's dad. He just needs certain things to live a normal life. He needs a little bit of help, and that's okay, you know, that happens to all of us. So it was great to see that in the story, and realistic. As I said earlier, I really felt like Kath was exactly like me when I was 18. I liked Harry Potter fan fiction. I read it, I wrote it, you know, I talked about it with my friends. We had a group of people and all we did was sit around and hang out and, you know, enjoy Harry Potter basically. And so I really loved the way that Rainbow Rowell wrote in pieces of fan fiction that is Kath and Ren's Simon Snow fan fiction, and you really get a sense of what Simon Snow is like, what the story is like, how it's similar or different to Harry Potter, and the importance of fan fiction for people. You know, that was a creative outlet for me. It helped me make friends because, like Kath, I had trouble making friends. I was very socially awkward. You know, the story is called Fangirl, so of course it was gonna really show you what the whole fandom scene is about. That's what made this book really fun for me. Seeing it, reading it, remembering it, and it was a great experience. So I know I've raved quite a bit about this book, but I honestly can't help it. I don't read a ton of YA. I know it kind of seems like it. I think I've mentioned several YA novels actually in the past week or so, but I really don't. I like science fiction, fantasy, classics, things like that. So when I read YA, I feel like I come at it with a very critical perspective, and usually I feel slightly let down, you know, but I think Fangirl is a great YA novel. It's great for teenagers, it's great for girls getting ready to go to college, but it's also great for people like me who were once in college and experiencing all these things, these feelings, these issues. You know, like I said, it was a fun look back, and I wish that more YA would be more like Fangirl. Because of this book, I will definitely be putting Eleanor and Park on my to-be-read list, which of course is very long, so I don't know when I'll get to it. I love the style, everything was really great. I have very few complaints about this book, and I hope that if you like fan fiction or if you like YA and you haven't, I hope you'll go pick up Fangirl, give it a read, and hopefully you'll enjoy it just like I did. So the evening sun is slowly creeping up my neck. I'm gonna call it quits. If you like Fangirl, if you want to talk about it, leave me a comment. If you have any recommendations of YA that is similar to this, I would really love to read it. I'm not anti-YA, I just have different interests, so always on the lookout for books written by women, and you know, anything that's good, just let me know. I guess that's all for now, and I will see you later. Bye.